What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the Only Sports Podcast, episode 99.5 Casino. This is not 100. This is 0.5. 99
Keep you on
and
your
a
toes.
half.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah. And we are back, as we discussed on the last podcast. We are back to talk about strictly college football. And we were just talking before we started recording how they were some of the best championship semifinals I can remember.
Oh, no, yeah. This was by far the best 4-game playoff setup so far since they brought that in. These 2 games were outstanding. Outstanding. I watched the second half of the Bama-Michigan game and every second on pins and needles watching that Washington Texas game. So good.
Yeah. But before we get into that, how you doing today, Casino?
Good. I was trying to go with the whole fit and everything, but this beanie, just got it for Christmas. It's about to cut off the circulation to my brain.
Huh.
Ugh.
I mean, it looks good. And I was complimenting you before on your lighting today is magnifique.
No, I still look sickly. As you put it.
But my tan, again, off the charts, even though I don't have a tan. But
That's what they all say, Oompa
Loompa. Also, I never do this, but I have something to plug today on the show before we go into college football. I launched my pre-launch page for my Kickstarter for my next comic, Casino.
Woo.
It's called The Elevated. It's about it's my take on superheroes. First issue is going to be up on Kickstarter in about a month, but you can go to Kickstarter right now. I'll post the link below.
When's the second issue of Imagination coming out?
Bam. That was the first one. This is the second one. The first one, Imagination, the one Casino's talking about, you can buy it on Amazon. Just type up Imagination #1 or message me just on this podcast and I will send one to you. It's only $5. So yeah, but this the second one, The Elevated. It's on Kickstarter right now. I'll post a link below. I'll post a link below to the Amazon one as well. So yeah. But now that that's out of the way, Casino, let's dive into you know what? First, let's talk about the Michigan-Alabama game because that was the first one
the first game, so might as well
which is weird to me. I felt like it should have swapped, but I think both games.
I think it. And I mean, you could switch swapped them, but I enjoyed watching the Washington game, second because I wanted to watch that one, so I'm glad that was on at night.
Yeah. So the Rose Bowl game ends in OT with Michigan winning, the final score being 27-20 against Alabama. Again, in the Rose Bowl. Thoughts on this game, Casino, just before we dive into it?
Phenomenal. I mean, it was – I really don't have much to say. I mean, we'll get a lot to say about this, but this game was just outstanding. I watched every second of the second half, and then all I could take from it is I'm happy Michigan won. I'm tired of Bama being in there, more because of the fans. I don't give two shits about Alabama as a school. It is what it is. Nick Saban's an amazing coach. He's going to go down as the best college coach ever, hands down. It's more the fans. I don't care if you're a Bama fan and you're listening to this. Come at me. I don't care. Message me.
Whoa.
I don't care. I mean, when your greeting is Roll Tide, like I just want to vomit. But you had your run. I'm a Pats fan, so I get it. It's time to get Saban out of there and cry, and just do like what I did with the Patriots. Just cry. It's fine. But I do like that the Michigan team won. I don't care about the sign stealing thing. I really don't, because every school does it. It's just who gets caught, who doesn't get caught. And
yeah, well, that's kind of like the thing where it was like every big school was paying their players before it became
it's
just if you get caught, like it's like, okay, everybody else is doing it, I was just dumb enough to get caught. So,
everybody has done it. I mean, the players may not know, but the coaches definitely know.
Yeah,
what they're doing.
100%. And also, it's one of those things where all the reports of it have basically come to the conclusion that, like, oh, it's just a former Michigan employee who has like bad blood with either Harbaugh or the athletic department
Right.
or whatever. So it's one of those things where it got leaked by somebody. And I think we touched on it on this podcast, but I think both you and I kind of just threw up our hands and were like, who gives a shit? Like, he got penalized for a thing, like you said, everybody does. And then it's kind of like, I don't
Beat
know. I
me.
don't.
How about you beat Michigan with the backup coach? Come on now, like
Yeah. Well, yeah,
you beat them, beat them.
yeah. And I mean, in this game, it was obviously coaching, but I mean, JJ McCarthy, 17 for 27,
Not good. Oh no, JJ
221
McCarthy was great.
yards,
Yeah,
3 touchdowns, had some real impressive throws, real impressive reads, like evading the blitz. And just, I was really impressed with the Michigan quarterback. The Alabama quarterback, which I think you were about
yeah, 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 yeah.
say, rough game. I feel
Yeah,
like
Jalen
he
Milrow
was,
was oof, dude.
yeah.
Oof.
I feel
That
like
was tough to watch.
constantly throughout the game, the Michigan defense was great, but I really feel like he was just running face first into sacks that I feel like he could have avoided. But when the pocket was collapsing, it almost felt like instead of trying to escape, he was just like, all right, I'm just going to get sacked. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there was
Right.
no trying to get out of the pocket. It was like the pocket's collapsing and I'm just going to run into the guy.
I
It
mean,
was,
yeah,
and that happened so many
there was 6
times.
sacks on that game, dude.
Yeah,
Like
and
it
it
was
felt like 5 of them he could have tried to avoid.
right. Yeah, it was pretty strong Michigan defense. I mean, their offense is fine. You know, it's still a damn good offense. But this team is, and this is why we'll get into it, why I'm really excited for the national championship game. Um, but I really like Michigan's defense, and they showed why they're a juggernaut in college football this year.
Yeah, and the, Alabama offense has really been the question mark for this team pretty much the entire season, and then it came back to basically bite them in the ass at the end. I mean, we've seen great college quarterbacks come out of Alabama. We've seen great,
No, no, not all have been great. Not all have
well,
been
at
great.
Alabama, they were great. In in the pros, it's been a mixed bag. Now, obviously, we have the most good Alabama quarterbacks I think we've ever had, which is we have Hurts, we have Tua Tagovailoa, we have your boy Mac Jones. I mean, but on the season, Milrow, I'm sorry, had 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 2,800 yards, and he was 13th in the nation in QBR. Like, again, those are fine numbers if
But they're not
you're,
gonna win you a national championship.
well, yeah, and they're fine numbers if you're not at Alabama, who has just 5-star recruits every season over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where, and then again, we saw his limitations in this game where he threw for what, 116 yards, 16 completions on 23 attempts, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And I mean, was the Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson calling the last 3 plays to win that game,
Dude,
because
so bad.
that fourth down call was what looked to be an RPO option where the quarterback could either keep the ball or swing it to the running back or receiver on the outside, and he hands the ball up the middle, which looked like, of the 3 options the RPO was giving him, the worst possible option. If he would have done it a swing pass, he would have had a chance. If he would have done a like a read option play, he would have had a chance with the quarterback running.
And that's
But
I mean,
to
yeah,
just
but
hand
you had
it,
0 chance.
I like that was, yeah, and it's not like they were on the 1 yard line either. They were like on the 5. So expecting just a run up the middle straight into the line in a Michigan D line that was basically pushing around Alabama's O line the entire game. I don't know how that's your call in that situation. It's just, I don't know. But in terms of this Michigan team, Casino, Jim Harbaugh after this game said that JJ McCarthy is the best quarterback to ever come out of Michigan or ever play at Michigan.
Huh.
Uh Now again, your true love, Tom Brady
Huh.
came out of Michigan, but at Michigan, he was fine.
Because he never
He was
got
a good
starts, dude. He was the third stringer.
yeah. I remember when he came in, or don't remember, but I've seen the clips of him coming in and winning that bowl game. I think it was the Rose Bowl. I think they called it, if I remember correctly, they played it during this game where Tom Brady comes in and wins the Rose Bowl. But McCarthy, the past 3 seasons, 2021, he only started, I believe, 1 or 2 games. He had 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Past 2 seasons, he's had 22 touchdowns both years. This year, 4 interceptions. Last year, 5 interceptions. Around 2,800 yards both seasons. And then the only real difference is last year he was a 65%, this year 73% completion percentage. I mean, I think he has the third best QBR in the nation. I think he's a good quarterback, but when you're saying that about a guy in college as just being this amazing quarterback, and then you turn on the Washington Texas game and you see Penix just doing like
Oh, we'll get into that.
unbelievable things. I
We'll get
mean,
into that.
yeah. Thoughts on just JJ McCarthy and this Michigan offense, which I feel like has just been real hit or miss this season.
Yeah, for me, I mean, they've definitely been, good. Obviously, you have to be good enough to make the national championship. Controlling at least the clock and the ball, and making timely plays and timely possessions. My boy, he's sad. He's in his swing. He loved his swing, and now he's sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, middle of the road. Like, this is not the most dynamic offense in the league, but they are getting to the national championship because of their defense, because of players like McGregor, who had 2 sacks, Michael Barrett, who had 7 tackles, 2 assists, and a sack. Like, it's this defense. This defense is absolutely top tier. And regardless the bad play calling by Alabama, regardless of that, like, this defense still has to go out there and play, and they've done very well. And I'm very excited to see how this national championship game comes out. But I'm
Yeah.
happy Bama's not in it, just because I'm tired of their fans. Again, don't care
Yeah.
about Alabama, whatever. They're fans. I don't care. You come after me.
But you know
Mark it
what?
down.
We just
Mark it
spent
down.
so much time shitting on Alabama's offense. They're 56th ranked offense in total offense in the nation. Can you guess what Michigan is?
62.
Close. They are 70th in total
Ooh.
offense in the nation.
But
So,
what's their defense?
well, their defense, I believe, is a top what? I think it's a top 5 defense, but just talking about total offense, I mean, Alabama's gotten shit all year for them having a vanilla basic offense. Michigan is by all metrics worse. The only thing is they have a better quarterback, which obviously wins games, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any playmakers or any kind of guys like a Marvin Harrison Jr. at obviously Ohio State is like a wide receiver that's going to come out in the draft this year that everybody's saying is like a generational talent, right, for college football. But then you look at past years where you have all these big name receivers coming out of college, and Michigan just, I don't know, like McCarthy, if he came out this year declared for the draft, what, he'd be the 4th or 5th best quarterback option, if that.
Possibly, yeah.
Like, yeah. And then when you look at the offensive weapons of Michigan, it's just, yeah, nobody really stands out to me as someone you have to game plan around where you would to, obviously a Marvin Harrison Jr., as we just talked about. So I don't know. And then you look at, let's use this to segue to Washington and
Segu.
Texas Casino. Segu, you look at the offensive firepower that Washington has, and I mean,
Where
it's
are they
impressive.
in the standings
In
for?
total offense,
Yes, that's what I mean.
let me
And we
look
might
it
as well
up.
do defense with it as well. Oh, I
So
thought you had it up right there next to you.
no, so Texas was ninth in total offense. Washington was 10th,
Oh,
which is crazy because when I watch Washington games, their offense to me pops more than the Texas offense
oh,
does.
by far. Oh yeah.
But that's not the case. I
Maybe I
mean, it's
just watched
close.
more
Obviously,
Washington
they're
games than Texas games, but
yeah, and then obviously LSU finished the season as the number one offense with the Heisman Trophy winner, so that makes sense. But yeah, let's talk about Washington and Texas Casino. My preference of the two games was this one. I thought
but
this
oh
was
yes.
just fantastic. And it felt, I don't know how it ended up being a one score game at the end. It was 37-31. Washington wins it. Texas, I mean, they get the ball back in the fourth quarter with, I believe I have it right here. They are down 37-28 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. And then all of a sudden, you're like, Washington's kicking a field goal to make it 37. And you're like, oh, this game's over. And then all of a sudden, Texas goes down. They kick a field goal. They try the onside kick. Washington gets it back. And then just do 3 runs right up the middle, just trying to burn clock. It doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, Texas gets the ball back, does like a 40. Well, there's uh uh interference on the catch or on the kick return.
Oh
So
yeah.
they get that penalty. Then they get the long, like 30-yard bomb on the sideline. So now all of a sudden it's 30 seconds left, and Texas is 25 yards away from winning this game. Like, how did, because to me, when I was watching it, it never felt like Texas was in it. And then all of a sudden, with 20 seconds in, it's like they get a touchdown and win. And they're going to. But thoughts on this game, Casino?
I thought the same thing. Like going mid of the fourth, I was like, okay, like it's 2 scores. Washington's got this. Their offense has handled it. Once they get the ball back, they're going to be able to kill that clock because I mean, time of possession. I just had it pulled up. Time of possession. It was almost 24 minutes for Texas and just over 36 minutes for Washington. I was like, they're going to be able to time management this out. The offense can move the ball. Not on third down. I'll get into that. Jesus. That was a rough first half on the third downs, but they were not able to. They were able to move the ball and keep their offense on the field, and I think that helps them. And that's going to be the big thing in the national championship game. But did you see that it was maybe 3 minutes left in the second quarter or something like that, and they still hadn't had a third down conversion from either team.
Jesus. I did
Yeah.
not notice that.
Oh
No.
yeah, no. I mean, they pulled it up and they were talking about it. I mean, the third down efficiency was not good for either team. It was 4-11 for Texas, 0-4 for fourth down, and 3-11 for Washington, and 1-2 on fourth down. Like it was, and each team had 71, 7. They had 70 plays ran. Texas had one more, but that was it. Like so, they're just moving the ball either on the second or second down, first or second down. Like that's it was the big play, the big throws. And then speaking of those big plays and big throws, watching Penix Jr. and this is nothing but against Quinn Ewers. He played really well. Um, he played well enough. Let's just say that he played well enough. But wow, Penix Jr. I texted you saying that I don't think, and I've told people at the bar last night or Monday night, I don't think I have seen a better quarterback performance, precision throws that well in like the last probably 5 years in college, or because I can't think of the last time I saw something that great when it comes to passing for a quarterback, college or pro. Some of those passes were insane on full stride, down the line, over the shoulder, right into the dude's hand. It's missing the defender's hands, the corners or the safeties by like inches, millimeters.
I know.
And then the one that blew my mind was that one that he threw the bolt right in the middle of the end zone. And it was that play that you always see, in movies and stuff where you have the two defenders trying to reach for it and the ball goes right through.
Oh, yeah.
And you have the guy standing there.
Yeah.
That one, like, when I saw all the others, I was like, wow, those are great passes. Wow, those are great passes. When I saw that one, like, my butt clenched naturally for a second. And I was like, who has the ball? Wait, how does he have the ball? I
Yeah.
thought, like, did the ball go through those four hands of the defenders? Like,
Well, it
what
was what
happened?
is it? It was like the slot wide receiver on a cover 2 split right in the middle, and it's literally like you have 2 seconds to get it right here before either both safeties are
Probably
gonna
less.
collide to try to intercept this, right? And it was like, I mean, it was but like you're saying, it was a thread the needle type throw where it was perfectly timed, perfectly accurate, where only his guy could get the ball.
That
And
was
then it
my
was one of those
yeah,
things where,
that
like
was my
you're
favorite
saying,
pass of what I've seen in college football this year.
so now we didn't really talk about the Heisman when it happened, but Jaden Daniels, the LSU quarterback, won it. He was number one in the nation in QBR with a
Yeah, no,
95.6.
he good,
He
great
had
quarterback, dude.
3,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, no,
So
you give
obviously,
you
like,
you give
yeah.
him the Heisman. That's phenomenal.
But
That's
in
phenomenal.
comparison, Michael Penix Jr., 4,600 yards, which is fucking crazy in 13 or 12 games. Or no, it would have been 11 or 12 or 11, whatever.
He went for 430 this game.
35 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he was sixth in the nation in QBR with 85.7. So Daniels obviously deserved to win it because those numbers are crazy. But to put up almost 4,700 yards in a college football season, like not including, the playoff games, that's fucking crazy. Because you just include not even both games, just this game, he's over 5,000 passing yards in 14 games. Like, how is that possible? That is
It's
just
it's
insane.
it's special. No, it's special, man. Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't watch every Washington game. This was the third Washington game that I watched in full. The first two were the two Oregon against Oregon because I have friends who are Oregon fans, and so I was watching the game with them, and then obviously the Monday night game because it was at work. But dude, this was phenomenal. And nothing against Texas, like they still played well. It was a really good game. I know that sorry, that was a little low. Hi. Um, we had a disagreement in that last play. I was like, that was a great play by the defender to knock it out of his hands. But you're like, oh well, if he threw it any, a little bit lower, he would have been able to catch it and get his foot down. I
Yeah.
don't care because you still have to. He threw it to where the defender can make a play, and the defender made a play. If you don't want the defender to make the play and be the star of that moment, throw it lower, throw it, where only the receiver can get it and get his arms on it. So,
well,
I
after
totally I disagreed with you on that all day.
Well, after rewatching that, I do the thing I didn't mention when we discussed it at the end of the last podcast was the the elephant in that room in that conversation is he had 3 Washington defenders like in his face. So it's not like I was making it sound on the last podcast like he was standing in a clean pocket, had time, and then just overthrew the guy.
Yeah,
What
make the play.
actually happened is he was about to be tackled or sacked by 3 6'6", 300-pound men, and he just threw up a basically a prayer ball, and then it was just a little bit over the guy's head. But if he would add a second or two more, and he could have hit that guy just right in the chest, because like you're saying, we're giving a bunch of credit to Penix, but Els, or however the fuck you say his name, that was
Quinn Ewers.
Ewers. I think it's Ewers. But he was making some, I mean, damn good throws in
I
that.
mean, and you brought up the one where, he did that 40-yard bomb or whatever it was down the field, man. Like that was a great play. That was a
Yeah.
great pass.
And
Like
then I think it
this game was
was
so entertaining on every level. I mean, three Quinn himself, plus Blue and Baxter. I mean, they both or all of them went for roughly 60 yards, give or take a yard or two. Like, so they were moving the ball on the ground. All of his receivers, I mean, we have a 32, 39, 45, 45, 70, 75. Like, he's spreading the ball around, which was a really good, like, he did really well. I mean, but you have Penix on the other side throwing the football better than I've seen in ages when it comes to a quarterback. Um, it was that was top tier, top tier. It was such a fun game. I know you wanted it different for the national title game, but I'm very excited that it is now.
No, I didn't want it different. I just thought Texas would win. But with
No, you said
what
it would be more exciting if it was X and X.
yeah. I mean, I don't dislike Washington. I just was saying from a I
Viewer
guess
standpoint,
yeah, but like we've said before, like we as football fans don't give
it's
a shit
fresh,
what's
but it's
the
fresh and new.
no,
Seeing
this is
Michigan,
fresh.
Michigan hasn't won a title or even been back there in fucking, I don't recall how long, 90s or something like that.
Yeah, and to bring up a question you had earlier, Michigan is number 1 in total defense in
There you
all of
go.
college football.
Yeah. So I
So
mean that's phenomenal. That's so Segu. Every time we say that, I want like French cuisine. It just sounds yummy. I want to watch Ratatouille. I don't know, but so let's Segu. Um, yeah, maybe because it's like escargot, whatever. To
Yeah.
that national finals championship. Jesus, now I can't even speak. The next game. Let's get into the next game. Um, what do you think the line is at? Let's start
Uh,
off there.
so we have the number 1 ranked defense going against the number 10 ranked
Have you looked it
offense.
up? Do you know?
I did not know. I'm gonna
Okay,
say on a neutral field, I'm gonna say 2.5 Michigan.
wrong. It is currently 4.5 Michigan. When I first
Whew.
saw the first time, it was at 4, so it has moved, and it's more bets are coming in for Michigan because that line is moving. That line is moving, man. So, um, yeah, I on a neutral site, I don't know if I like this because again, what I've said about Washington the entire time is it's hard to go up against a team that is winning close games. Oh man, you settled and now you're not settled. Why? Oh, his eyes are closed. He's having a tiff. And anyway, it's hard to go up against a team that is winning close games. Like, yes, all their games have been very close, but until a team can beat them in a close game, it's hard to go against them. So I'll just give him my pick right now. I'm going Washington because if Penix can play the way he played, like if he has enough time, that's going to be a big factor. Enough time to throw the ball how he threw it this last game, then I can't go against Washington because they haven't lost a close game, and I don't care that Michigan's got the number 1 defense. If I can't, like if the quarterback on the other team is putting it inches to where the other team can't get it, doesn't matter how good of a defender you are, you're not going to be able to block. You're not going to be able to stop it. If it is receiver hand, defender hand, and it's here and the ball lands here, like you can't, that doesn't matter how good of a defensive player you are. You're not going to stop that. So I'm going to go Washington. I'm going to go grab my son. He's going to make an appearance on the podcast. But
Can't
yeah,
wait.
it's currently 4.5 going to Michigan. And you know what? If the Wolverines win, I have so many family friends and personal friends who are Michigan alum, diehard Michigan fans that I've talked to them after that game against the Bama game, and like they were telling me they're like shaking in excitement,
Yeah.
which I'm happy for them. So I have friends who are for both teams. This is what I wanted. This is very exciting for me because I'm very excited to enjoy the celebration that my friends are going to have, whether it's Washington or Michigan. Let me
Yeah.
go grab my son.
Now, Washington, so Michigan has the number 1 ranked defense in the league, number 70th ranked offense, right? So Washington, on the other hand, has the number 10 ranked offense. And again, this is total offense, total defense, and the 94th ranked defense. So again, we've seen it in the Oregon game. We saw it kind of against a Texas team that again was the ninth ranked offense, where you can move the ball on this Washington team. But that being said, the 94th ranked offense or the 94th ranked defense is when you're playing, Oregon twice, you're playing USC, you're playing big time college offenses. So I was saying Casino. Washington's defense is 94th in the league, but I don't really think they've played like a 94th ranked defense because they've been playing such offensive juggernauts like Oregon or USC. So I don't know. I just think that I to me, it's weird that Michigan is the favorite by 4 points because I feel like on a neutral field, if this was Michigan at home, then I think it would be a 3.5 point game. So Michigan at a neutral site with 4 seems weird to me, but that seems to be Vegas and the odds makers telling you something we don't know. And we always hear the cliche of defense wins championships and blah, 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 blah. So if do I think if this game gets into a shootout, then it's Michigan or it's Washington by 3 touchdowns, right? Because Michigan doesn't have the firepower to combat that. If this gets into a down and gritty, in the trenches kind of game, I think Michigan just bullies this Washington team around. And if they keep it low scoring, I would pick Michigan 100 out of 100 in a low scoring game.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be very exciting to see which way you hit the nail on the head there. Which way this is gonna go? Is this gonna be a ground and pound defensive juggernaut of a game, which we know where they both stand now,
yeah,
or is it gonna be a shootout? And I think it's gonna come down to which team can get out early and set the tone. Set the
yeah.
tone. Set the tone. Um, so I've
You know
been
what?
watching too much Canadian TV hockey. Set the tone.
I almost wish we would have gotten uh the opposite matchups in the semifinals, so then we would have a better like picture of what's going to happen in
Understanding.
what's going to happen in the finals. Because if we would have saw Washington against Alabama, Alabama obviously had the I think we said 11th or 10th ranked defense in the nation, so we would have seen Washington have to go against a comparative defense to Michigan, and then we would have seen Michigan go against Texas, who has a comparable offense to Washington, right? So we would have seen, both sides of the coin we're now getting in the finals. But all that being said, I'm just going to go different than you just
I love it.
because
And
I
I don't. And
think,
Michigan's not a bad choice because it's just what you said. Is it
yeah,
who's going to set the tone? Is Penix
yeah,
going to get out and get that extra second he needs to throw that long ball? Is he going to get that extra second that he needs, or is Michigan's defense going to put enough pressure on him, get the ball, put the Washington defense on the field, and make them stop the Washington or the Michigan run?
yeah. And also,
And the
you and
greatest
I have
quarterback
both
to ever come out of Michigan.
uh and you and I have both said we both like Michigan obviously more than like Ohio State or any of these teams, but I also like Washington. Like this is a
I've always
championship
liked
game.
Washington, even
Yeah,
before
where I don't dislike either of them.
even before my friend moved to Washington, the one that always comments on and puts the comments on. Before he even went there, and being a Washington fan, I've always liked Washington. I like their colors. I like their logo, just that big ass W. And I'm just like, all right. Like, I mean, a
Yeah.
Husky's dope as shit. I love Huskies. They're great dogs. So I've always liked Michigan or Washington. And then, yeah, Michigan, I'd much rather see them than Ohio State because I can't everything Ohio State and Ohio and LeBron and Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers and all. Oh, sorry, that going
Yeah.
different sports here.
I've always been a Pac-12 fan, but my team's kind of always been UCLA.
Yeah,
Just
Pac-12 has always been fun. I mean, it's sad that
they're
it's
fun.
dead. It's
Yeah,
sad that
it's
it's dead.
gone. It's
It's
gone.
dead. It's dead.
But that
Oh,
being
and some
said,
sad news. I did see that our boy, Vegas boy,
oh, yep, transfer
Jordan
portal.
Mayava, he is now or Jaden Mayava, he's now leaving.
Yeah.
Transfer portal. That's
And
sad.
on that somber note, Casino is picking Washington. I'm picking Michigan. We're both just hoping for just a good game. It will be interesting to see what kind of game it's going to be, because I think the
Set the
what
tone.
will
Set the tone.
determine the winner of this game is the tone that's set
Set
in
the
this
tone.
game
See, there it
early.
is. You finally win it. You said it. You went with it. Set the
What?
tone.
Set the tone.
Set the fucking tone. Sorry,
So
kid. Don't
yeah,
repeat that.
this has been the Only Sports Podcast, episode 99 and a half.
99.5.
And we will be back tomorrow with episode number 100. I mean, it's going to be a huge show, Casino. We're going to do our week 18 picks. And I don't know, we'll figure out what else to do, but yeah. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. Anything else to say, Casino, before we head out of here?
My kid, I'm surprised you didn't hear it on this, but he farted. And I think he shat himself.
Nice. I mean, me and your son have that in common. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino. And
this is
we
Colby.
will see you. That's Colby. And we'll see you tomorrow with episode 100. Woo! Adios.